Roman is the biggest bad guy character in professional wrestling.
When's the last time you got laid?
French Toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Like, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Can we tell the truth about Dusty sooner or later?
Bro, less people wanted that than are currently watching our stream.
And you know Vince, and you still think, are these true? It's like...
Welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody. It is Friday night, and you know what that means. We're here to cover WWE SmackDown. Wait, no, that's not right. We're not here for SmackDown. That was the last video. We are here to cover New Japan, and wow, did they put on an event tonight. They put on their Windy City Riot show in Chicago. We were expecting a very Gaijin favored show, and boy, did they deliver. We are going to start with the main event, but before I do, let me introduce myself. If you're new, my name is James Gisanti. I am a Mark. Pleased to meet you. To that direction is Dragoon, redacted. You know, we respect anonymity here at the Mark It Down podcast, but as anonymous as he wants to be, we are going to be screaming from the rooftops, considering the main event of this show had Jon Moxley challenging Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And guys, spoiler, Jon Moxley is your new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. This man is the first man in wrestling history to win the WWE Championship, the AEW Championship, and the IWGP Championship. Insane. Good for him. Whether you agree or disagree with the booking, you have every right. We're going to get into it. I feel a debate coming, whether or not you like it or not. Good for Jon Moxley. And he somehow, we talked about it after Roman lost the title at Mania and Seth lost the title at Mania. There was a week where there was no Shield member who was carrying a championship for the first time since 2020. It lasted less than a full week as Jon Moxley captures the gold. Now, Dragoon, you got to tell me, buddy, I know you're a little apprehensive. I know you're not, I know you've got some opinions. And if you guys hear snoring, it is my beautiful dog. It is after midnight here on the East Coast. But Dragoon, tell me what you thought. Tell me what you think of the decision, and then we'll get into the match itself.
You know, it's crazy. From the time I called you to the time joining this podcast, I think what made me warm up to this is, and I even wrote it down before we joined in as like something I wanted to talk about, and you beat me to it, is the fact that he is the first wrestler to win all 3 titles. And even if I personally wanted Naito to go longer, I appreciate a good history story. I appreciate like accolades like this. I've liked Moxley for a while. I clown on the dude sometimes. I enjoy Moxley. Not going to go into the specifics with the match, but like there was a lot of great moments due to him because of this match. This isn't the worst thing on the planet, but it would have been nice to see Naito get a longer title reign. But I'm not as angry as I once was about this.
Naito and short title reigns, they go hand in hand. We're all used to them. We're all, unfortunately, very acquainted with them. Naito is definitely, he will be remembered as a hell of a challenger for the title. Not necessarily for his runs with the belt, but for his chases of the belt. Lot of respect for Tetsuya Naito. At this stage in New Japan, he's probably one of the last torchbearers of the last era of the company. Obviously, Tanahashi is still around, but he's transitioning into a backstage role, and a lot of the big names like Okada are gone. A lot of the Gaijins are gone, or a lot of the former Gaijins are gone. But huge development to have an AEW wrestler win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Tell me what you think about that specifically. Somebody who's not an active member of the roster winning your world title.
Before that, I just want to give some views to the comments here. I can't highlight them if you would like to.
I'll highlight them. I'll highlight them. Little Lucky Mox's love go and defend against Young Lions weekly. What do you think of that?
I mean, if he wants to be the new Suzuki, he can.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love beating up on Young Lions?
Yeah, I mean that is a fun traditional pastime. And then Josh Patterson just popped in, but I gotta say something. Please speak your truth.
Yeah, Josh, we love interacting with you guys here at the Market Down podcast. So please, love it, hate it, indifferent towards it. Think it's gonna put the company under. Think it's gonna be the best thing for the company in years. Let us know what you think.
Absolutely.
But keep going, Dragoon.
With how much work Moxley has done for New Japan, he is one of the few guys out there where it's. I'm not going to get into that comment right now. It's a.
Oh man! Out of nowhere.
What the hell?
Let's just get it out of the way. Josh Patterson saying Jade Cargill is going to be proof of everything that's wrong with AEW and everything that's right with WWE. Josh, time will tell. I don't know if I agree or disagree with you, but I can tell you, it seems so far they're booking Jade exactly the way AEW did, except they're putting her in tag matches as opposed to the singles matches that AEW was booking Jade in. I have a feeling a streak is about to ensue. But thank you for the comment. If you're new to Market Down and you want to talk with us more, leave your opinions, hit subscribe. We're always listening. But go for it, Dragoon.
All right. Do you want me to address that one too, or do you feel like
if you don't care, don't worry about it. Move on.
Yeah. Right. Like Moxley put in a lot of good work for New Japan. Like, to anyone who would deny that this isn't fair and like this is insulting to New Japan, I would challenge anyone who would try to have that view. Moxley has been putting in the work for this company for a while. This isn't insulting. This is fine. It's not like he's a one-off. He's not like, to me, I was more insulted with Riddle. Like, okay. Those are the ones where it's like, this guy is going to be here on the rare occasion. Who cares? Moxley's going to be there defending that very, very often, probably. He's a workhorse. He deserves all the credit for this. That's not a problem.
It seems, if I may interject, it seems like they're going to be doing a tour here in the States for a little bit. I know they announced a show in Washington, D.C. I think they
try to go to that.
Yeah, but I would actually be down for that. I think they announced a show on the West Coast as well. So if they're going to be in the States, I get wanting to have a name like Moxley holding your title.
Why not?
Right?
No, why not?
Better than it's gonna hurt me to say it, but I'm sure this makes you happier than say Eddie Kingston winning the title.
I don't want to do this right now because I completely agree with you, but I don't want to swing down on your boy like that. Like, but he's taken enough L's recently, so
fair enough. But yeah, get into the match itself. What did you think? It was definitely a bloody affair. They fought on the outside for quite a bit. It was definitely a clash of styles, in my opinion.
Moxley is great with what he does with the striking, everything else. Again, matches like these always work out when you have two wrestlers, and I'm going to make a comment about another wrestler later on. But to compare the matches, when you have a dude like Moxley who can work basically a one gimmick style of match, and I think that is perfectly okay with him, and he excels in it. He's a brute. Moxley is a brute. He's not a clean-cut technician. When he locks in his submissions, everything else, they look sloppy in a good way. So this works out for him. My man is a butcher, basically. I like it. And then you got Naito, who is almost the weirdest version of a showsman possible. This is a matchup of two unorthodox dudes who still have two very different styles. And they worked it very well. I love a good, like rain of blood everywhere. I wish sometimes Moxley would not do it as much as he does, only because then when we get moments like this where there's blood everywhere, you're truly in awe. But I mean, like I said, there's some imagery with Naito just covered in Moxley's blood that is just like, oh, this is metal. Moxley yelling out how he's not giving up, like how he has that adrenaline in his soul. Also, and then we got one really good spot with the curb stomp. I love Moxley hitting that is always pretty. It's a nice spot. It's a sweet spot. He's a spear away from making me start kicking my feet. Like once he hits that, I'm going to be a giddy boy about it. But
what would you prefer, the spear or the Superman punch?
I'm gonna go spear. I'll go spear with that, just because like the curb stomp is basically Rollins' finisher. So I hope one time we get a match that means a lot that he has to hit like all three.
No, that'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
But how about you? How did you feel about the match itself?
I enjoyed what I saw of it. I was covering SmackDown here on the pod, but I did make sure to put special attention on this match, and that was before I even thought he was going to win or lose.
Josh has a great idea here. Barbed wire Superman punch.
I like it, Josh. I like it. If anybody would do it, it would be Moxley. So not a bad call out there, Josh. But yeah, I enjoyed the match. Like it was the match I was expecting to get with the outcome I wasn't anticipating. I had it in the back of my mind that it was actually a possibility Mox would win, but it was far from a certainty to me. And then for him to actually take it all the way, it turned it from a match that was, oh yeah, this was an enjoyable match, to I'm going to remember this match for years.
Absolutely.
Let's see, going to the comments. Hunter Iggy, been a while, Hunter. Hope you're doing well. Do you think Jacob Fatu will show up next week on Friday? I assume you mean on SmackDown. I think it's a matter of time. Tama Tonga makes sense to have debuted first. He's actually been signed for quite a while to WWE. Jacob seems to have been a more recent signing. Time will tell. But either way, it's very exciting to be following the Bloodline storyline right now, especially without the title being so heavily involved in the storytelling. But yeah, I think this match went from being a enjoyable affair to a memorable affair due to the title change.
And there was a point where I was going to get annoyed when he hit the second Death Rider. I was kind of worried that Naito was going to kick out, because you know how I feel. Biggest pet peeve in wrestling is like kicking out of too many finishers. Unless you're at WrestleMania, that is the only excuse I'll give it, because then it's just like, whatever. You kind of have to at this point.
Yeah.
Any other time, any other wrestling show, the rules remain. Kicking out of one finisher, okay. When you start to kick out of like multiple ones, wait, Josh Patterson. All right, childish question. What would y'all use as finishers if you were pro wrestlers? I'll let James go first because I don't know.
Really? You don't know? I feel like this is something you would have thought about.
There's so many I like.
All right. So if I'm going to use a submission, it is going to be the crippler crossface or a sharpshooter. I'm going to redact that. It's not the crippler crossface. It's just the crossface. I would be using a crossface. I mean, I grew up with it being called that. I didn't even mean anything by it.
You're fine.
I think it's easier to apply than a label lock, even though I like the label lock more. So yeah, I would probably do a crossface or a sharpshooter if it's a submission. If it's a high flying move, I have spent years perfecting my senton bomb or my swanton bomb. So I would probably use the swanton as my high flying move. And if it were going to be a drop move, Goto's move, where it's I forget the name of it, but it's a suplex into a uranagi, essentially.
Okay.
Always loved it. Always loved it. What about you? You got to give me something.
There's a move I used in the games that if I find it this year, I'm probably going to give myself. It's a diamond cutter into a dragon sleeper. I really enjoy that move. And then honestly, beyond that, can I pick 3 without my first one? You technically had 4.
Go ahead.
Okay. Whereas you ever see that spot where Suzuki takes a dude on like the second rope and they're hanging there in a sleeper hold?
Yeah, so you want to murder somebody.
Yeah, exactly. And the F5.
Could you hit an F5? Do you think you could? I would with moves I know I could hit.
We're talking in a fantasy scenario here. If I have the pro wrestler Brock Lesnar time to train, eat at a farm all day, and lift, I can hit an F5. As of right now, it wouldn't look good. But, maybe an F4. But, yeah, like I'm sure I can hit something.
The dreaded F4.
The dreaded F2 right now, to be honest.
Great question, Josh. Let us know in the comments what your finisher would be.
No, absolutely.
But yeah, man, where do you see New Japan going from here with Moxley as their champion? Are there any challengers you're excited for him to defend the title against? And do you want him to defend the title in AEW?
Oh, wow, that's actually a good question. Yeah, why not defend it in AEW? You know what? Like, why not? They've all my BS aside that you and me know about. Why not go ahead and have that moment? If you want, do you want me to read that one?
Let's see. All right. Hunter Iggy saying, not talk about tonight match. The winner gets 5 minutes with cause. Frankly, everyone already have that stipulated. I'll go backstage, get ready for tonight's match stipulated to keep that. Sorry, buddy. I don't, no disrespect. I'm not really sure what you were trying to say there. Eric asking, was The Rock there? No, unfortunately, he was too busy promoting Moana 2 at CinemaCon. But maybe next time.
I'm glad we all have fun here. So, as for New Japan, Eric, maybe you should watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. Food for thought. But, yeah, defend it in AEW. Why not? There's one dude in particular. He can go against a lot of people. I don't care. Shota needs to be the dude who beats him.
Has Shota won any title in New Japan yet?
No.
If this was a year or two down the line, I would agree with you. I don't think Shota's ready to win that title. And I think winning it could hurt him a lot.
If it wasn't so perfect that it was Mox, and depending on how long of a title reign they give Mox, the story writes itself.
Oh, the story is absolutely there. But as of right now, this was a guy who was struggling to take on Jack Perry.
Give it time. Give it time.
How long do you want Moxley to be champion?
6 months.
I want to believe that Shota could show that type of growth. Of the 3 guys right now, who is it? Tsuji, Narita,
Shota, and Ren.
I'd say Shota is the least. It's a bottom. It's a battle for.
Yeah,
for the bottom. It's a battle for the bottom with Ren Narita.
No, Ren Narita is below Shota, in my opinion.
I'd say barely. The book. I think Shota is way better than Ren, but I don't think anything about his booking shows that he's ready to be champion.
Tsuji, on the other hand.
Oh, Tsuji could win the title tomorrow, and I'd be okay with it.
There's a ton of talent. Like this could really work in New Japan's favor. Just let Moxley run a good defense for a good bit. And yeah, like I think if Moxley holds on to that title for a good bit of time, has some good defenses and everything else, I'm not gonna lie, you scared me for a second. I don't know what I would do without you. I don't know.
You just needed to talk.
I need commenters. Please comment.
Okay.
Comment.
But yes, we are now living in the Jon Moxley era of New Japan Pro Wrestling. I selfishly am wondering what this means for the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club. I am hoping either Bryan and Moxley run it back again, and this is the title Bryan wins, or maybe we get Bryan and Claudio each winning world titles again, let Claudio win the Ring of Honor title again, and have Bryan win the AEW title, and have every member of this team holding a world title. We don't count Wheeler Yuta, but we have every member of the team holding a world title from a different company. That's me. That's me booking big. I know.
No, that's pretty fantastic. Can I please read these comments? Unless you don't.
I'll put. I mean, let's see what Hunter has to say.
You want me to read it?
I'll read it. Not talk about tonight's match. The winner gets 5 minutes with your wife, and cause quality. Frankly, everyone already have that stipulated one. Buddy, you gotta proofread these things. Stipulated 2. I'll go down to the ring, put my boot to your ass. Hunter, I don't know why you're so feisty tonight. You've been in our comments before, but I don't know what you're on tonight. Maybe it's because it's Friday. But yeah, buddy, just be cool. We're cool. Be cool. He's typing.
I am typing. I am indeed typing.
But let's move on to the rest of the show. Unless there's any other comment you want to put about the main event and Jon Moxley winning the championship.
No, I think it was a great match. I think it was. Oh, there we go. We got Josh going over his finishers. Ooh, and these are great. My 3 would be submission, full Nelson camel clutch, a classic, diving corkscrew elbow drop. That is a hell of a move to hit.
Josh Patterson or John Morrison? Who am I talking to?
Yeah, right. Standing finisher, pump handle backbreaker. My man is. You got shit. That is a hell of a lineup. Yeah, man. My man has the lineup. Are you gonna pin people? Are you gonna do the same pin style?
But let's move to the top of the show, where Minoru Suzuki took on Ren Narita. This was what is becoming a classic Suzuki match at this point in his career. There's lots of outside fighting. There's lots of shenanigans. There's lots of bells and whistles to cover up that Suzuki might not be able to wrestle the same standard type of match that he's been able to wrestle these last few years. It was a little bit of a back and forth. Narita making sure to take lots of opportunities to fight dirty, raking the eyes, throwing Suzuki into the barricade multiple times. The finish, seeing Narita hit Suzuki with a weapon while the referee wasn't looking. He then slams Suzuki and pins him for the 1, 2, 3. I know we love the Murder Grandpa here. I know Suzuki is a favorite of yours, Jordan, but I gotta say, I do think the right guy won. You got to put over the future. You got to put over the young guy. And I think Narita needed the win a lot more than Suzuki did.
The future is now, old man. You know. We got a few more comments.
Hunter saying this is from The Rock roasting Triple H and Stephanie McMahon from the late 1999. You know what? I will accept that, Hunter. I got a little nervous that we had some beef and I had upset you. Don't scare me like that again, pal. Please. I'm nervous. Josh continuing. He would go for the pump handle code breaker. I can't even visualize that.
I can't either.
Or the good old backstabber. The backcracker that guy, the double knees into the back as they drive him to the mat.
But like a pump handle.
No, I think he's just saying a backstabber.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you think of the results of Narita pinning Suzuki?
Narita's a coward.
Yeah,
but he needed We don't need to do that. But he needed to win this. Like, Suzuki is the number one for me. Probably will stay on top forever. But yeah, no, he needed. Like, why would he win that? You know, like, there are matches where it's like, cool, Suzuki won. This wouldn't be a good one to do that with.
Oh, that's very fair.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's yeah.
You know, we got a good Suzuki match this last weekend at WrestleMania. I'm okay with him not necessarily winning stuff as long as he still looks good, and I think he still looks good.
Absolutely.
So I'm cool with it. Moving on, we had a women's match as the New Japan I'm so sorry, guys. I'm exhausted. The NJPW Strong Women's Champion Stephanie Vicar defended against AZM. This was a classic case of strength taking on speed, as AZM did everything she could to just strike and run and dodge and weave and jump and do everything she can to tire out the stronger Vicar. But it was Stephanie who got the win, defending her championship in a proud manner and a dominant manner, in my opinion. As she's celebrating, Alex Windsor, who had wrestled on the pre-show, came out and confronted her. Windsor says she's conquered every country she's wrestled in. So now that she's here, she wants to conquer some more. She then challenged for the title at Resurgence. The challenge was accepted, and we have our next match. Do you have anything you want to say about this? Are you familiar with either of the women?
I've watched AZM before. She's cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't think she'd win this. They're cool with me. That's yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a good women's match. It was a good match on the card in general.
I did want to see it, and I'm kind of disappointed I didn't. So it's
yeah,
gonna be one I have to go back and watch.
Go back and watch. Moving on, we had a 4-way for the tag team title match as the strong open weight tag team champions, the Gorillas of Destiny, defended against TMDK, Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste, Fred Rosser and Filthy Tom Lawler, and the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson. Now, let me tell you guys something. This segment was happening at the exact same time as SmackDown was having their Bloodline segment. And I got to tell you how much I love the fact that I was able to get through the entire Bloodline segment while they were doing the entrances. I didn't miss a minute of this match, but as all the teams were coming out, I was able to watch the Bloodline segment. So everybody was happy tonight. This was an open challenge, and it was quite frankly very funny, as El Phantasmo had literally, the words had just escaped his lips saying he was issuing the open challenge when the first team accepted backstage when he presented it. And he and Hikuleo couldn't believe that they had already had a challenger, because how did they know there was a challenge? It was great stuff. Guys, I do apologize. My voice is still not with me after WrestleMania week. I am hopped up on Dayquil right now. I am doing everything I can to survive this and give you guys a show. I love El Phantasmo. I think he is a phenomenal talent. I think I was really worried about him after he got booted from Bullet Club, but this Gorillas of Destiny run really did wonders for him. It really helped him show a different side of his personality, and I think it helped get a lot of fans on his side. Hikuleo has gotten better and better with every match that he has. So I'm really proud. As a big man, it is fun to see him wrestle. He has a unique style for a big man, and I think he's killing it. And the two of them have a fun chemistry. But that chemistry was not enough, as the titles changed hands, as Shane Haste secretly tagged in. And after Hikuleo and El Phantasmo hit a double team top rope move, he snuck the pin on Nelson and got the 1-2-3. And TMDK are your new never open weight tag team champions. After the match, the West Coast Wrecking Crew just decimated Fred Rosser and Filthy Tom Lawler. Nelson got some scissors and cut Lawler's hair, and then forced the hair down Rosser's mouth. It was very creepy. Would you ever do that? Would you ever cut someone's hair and then put the hair in someone else's mouth? That's a special kind of weirdo, right?
There's this weird thing that they're doing. Now that you say it, the one New Japan Strong show I was at, they cut Ross's hair.
Yeah, he's bald right now.
Yeah, they've done this before with the weird hair thing. But, like, you know, as someone who's a big fan, not big fan, as someone who quite enjoys Tom Lawler, disappointing news, but I like Tom Lawler. That's a fun dude, in my opinion. I didn't think he'd win.
Too. I like Lawler too.
Like, I never have money on matches with him in it that he's gonna win, because at this point I'm just like, as long as he's having a good time, so am I.
I like Fred Rosser too, but I think they would both be better off individually than as a team.
Yeah. Well, that feels like we don't have anything for you guys, so here's a team.
Moving on to what was one of the more hotly anticipated matches coming into tonight. We had the scapegoat, Jack Perry, take on Shota Umino. Now, I haven't really spent a lot of time talking about entrances or anything else besides the actual wrestling of these matches, but I'm going to get into it here. Jack Perry, his music hits, and instead of him coming out through the curtain, we had a barrage, a battalion, a unit of Riot Squad. I don't know. What do you call a Riot Squad person? They're not soldiers, but what are they? Officers? Riot Squad officers, yeah. A barrage of Riot Squad officers decked out with all the gear, all the helmets, all the shields and everything, created a perimeter for Jack Perry to come out. As he makes his way out, he is wearing a leather jacket that on the back has spray painted "Cry Me a River." The crowd was super, super, super into him. Oh, we got somebody in the comments. Tito, I just came back. I was there, second row on the floor. Dude, I hope you loved the show. Tell us what you thought about it. We enjoyed it watching it from home. I hope you had a great time. And tell us what you thought your favorite match of the night. What did you think of the finish? What did you think of the main event? Let us know everything.
That's awesome.
Perry threw water at you. Oh, man, that's
great.
A memory right there. That is a memory right there. It's interesting because Perry did not get a fully... This being an event in Chicago, and I don't know if you guys know this, Chicago being a very big CM Punk crowd.
Oh.
Right? No, not everybody would know.
No.
I was expecting Perry to be booed out of the building. I was expecting a if Cena wins, we riot type of reception. And that really wasn't the case. He had people who booed him, but he also had people cheering him. There was a sign throughout his entrance. Jack Perry did nothing wrong. So very surprised by the reception here. Perry going to the ring, looking very stoic, looking very annoyed, flipping a lot of people in the crowd off. And then in contrast, Shota Umino making his entrance through the crowd, very Shield-esque, walking down the steps, walking down the stairs, going through the crowd, high-fiving, fist-bumping everybody, looking like a man of the people. So very fun back-and-forth contrast between these guys. Perry wrestling a very clear heel style. At one point in the match, fans are chanting, "You got choked out," with dueling chants of "No, he didn't." As this is going on, Perry then locks in a guillotine choke onto Shota. I love this. I thought Perry absolutely delivered with this. The kid has a good mind for how to work this character now, and he definitely knew how to play to the crowd. I'm going to go back to the comments right now. Tito saying he knew Mox was going to win so he could be the first Grand Slam champion. I don't even know how to classify this. This is bigger than just being Grand Slam champion. Tito also saying he's not sure if he'll hold it for long. Yeah, we're debating that right now.
Yep.
Were there any CM Punk chants? Not necessarily Punk himself, but there were lots of chants referencing Punk. Oh, Tito saying, I don't think I heard it on TV during the match, but Tito saying, yeah, there were a lot of CM Punk chants. Thank you for that, Tito. There was also Luchasaurus chants. There, you got to love it. And BC saying, I love Luchasaurus. Also, welcome back to the chat, BC. Been a while since I think we were talking with you this last weekend for WrestleMania. So thank you for being
here.
He
wasn't here because I figured out it's like BC. Is it like, if he can answer, is it because PKHNY? I don't know that one, but nice Kingdom Hearts picture though, buddy. I do like that. That's cool.
We told him to do the GTS. Well, I'm going to get into that in a second, Tito. But Perry hitting lots of throwback moves. He hit an unpretty, or a kill switch, I should say, at one point, honoring his former mentor, Christian Cage. I thought that was very interesting. Umino bringing the fight to Perry throughout all of this, chasing Perry around the ring. Umino did his best. He drilled him with a running forearm into the corner and suplexed him. Umino kept rolling with a DDT. Then Perry hits Shota below the belt and drops him with a DDT on the floor. As they get back in the ring, they're trading punches, and Umino drops Jack with a kick and slams him for a 2 count. They keep countering back and forth, and as I said, he hit him with the unprettier to get pretty close 3 count, but only got the 2. Perry then hits a running knee into the corner. If you're familiar with CM Punk, you know exactly the type of knee into the corner I'm telling you about. Yeah. He then flips off the crowd. After flipping off the crowd, he makes the go to sleep gesture. He then puts Umino up for the GTS, but Umino countered with a DDT. He then hit a running forearm and hit a Death Rider for the win, the 1, 2, 3. So a very clear story being told here. Jack Perry could not get CM Punk out of his mind. He couldn't get out of his own way. And in an effort to mock Punk, screws himself out of a win against Shota, evening the playing field, as this was their second match after Perry had attacked him back in January at Battle in the Valley. So now they are 1 apiece after the match. Surprisingly, I was a little confused by this. Perry shakes Shota's hand and flips the crowd off, but still high-fives the crowd as he's going back. Oh. I don't know. Maybe this is his last appearance in New Japan, so it didn't really matter what he was doing, but with the amount of heat that he's got to play this as a full heel. He just has to. So it was just a little weird. Tito saying he's going to upload clips of the night later. That's cool, man. Let us know. We'll check them out. Tito also saying there were also some CM Punk chants. Man, is Chicago turning on our boy? Or should I say, is Chicago turning on their boy, your boy?
Man, listen, there comes a point where, like, look, man, you see it with City Heroes all the time. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I hate to make a reference that only some people here will know. You'll know it because of how much I talk about it. It's Meek with Philly. Sometimes you do some shit where it's like, yeah, man, this city loves you. You have to continuously be kind of a dick for a city to turn on their hometown hero. But, I mean, if Punk wants to keep pushing, man, I feel like you can only do so much before you're just like, this guy's kind of making us look like an asshole. Yeah. So I don't think we're going to get there yet. I think for the most part, Chicago is always going to love Punk. But, yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, I feel like this is also hot right now. Give it a few months, those people are going to be cheering for Punk again because Chicago and Punk. But
I think it's very likely, and we shall see. Let's see when they go back to Chicago. I do just want to say we do have some new faces in the chat. I know we have some new viewers that aren't really familiar with us because we don't cover New Japan all that often here on the podcast. If you are new, we appreciate you being here. Please drop a comment like we have BC doing, we have Tito doing, and we have Josh doing. We love interacting with you guys. If you want to stick around with us, we are going to be covering New Japan a little bit more going towards the future. So hit subscribe. We cover everything wrestling here at the podcast. We cover WWE, we cover AEW, we cover TNA. We're going to be covering Ring of Honor a little bit more than we have been in the past. We cover everything. So New Japan is definitely going to be part of the roster moving forward. So we love having you, and mark it down means we're a bunch of marks too. So we just enjoy being with you guys. We will also be doing some giveaways for New Japan moving up soon. I believe our first major giveaway we're going to be doing for New Japan is for Tanahashi. So if you want an autographed Hiroshi Tanahashi autograph, definitely hit subscribe. Follow us on social media as well. Those links will be attached. And you'll learn how you can win a free Hiroshi Tanahashi autograph. But moving forward, I'm going to address this comment from Tito. This was your first pay-per-view in person since Money in the Bank 2011. Dude, that's sick. That was a sick Money in the Bank, bro. I'm glad you got to this show, and it sounds like you had a good time, so I'm happy for you. But tell me, what do you think of Jack Perry? What do you think of Shota? What do you think of what I told you about this matchup?
I mean, yeah, this is perfect. I mean, me and you got a little bit of time to discuss this between ourselves. I think everything here is perfect. The only thing that's not perfect, and it's unfortunate, is the fact that like Shota needed the win. And it's just like it's a matter of like right now is the perfect time for Perry to win.
Yeah.
And it's like it's right there and they just couldn't do it. And it's like it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I'm not mad at it because I completely get it. Good on them for utilizing it. Not like good on Jack Perry. This is working wonders for him. Cool.
Yeah.
I like to see wrestlers succeed. We have Tito commenting there was actually some mixed opinions on the scapegoat. I fully believe it. I don't think he is going to be, one-sided cheered or one-sided booed right now. I think, we see that online right now. I think the reactions to what happened backstage are mixed. I think everything is pretty much mixed right about now. I'm happy to see another wrestler win, even if you're not a fan of him. Good for him. You know what? More wrestlers getting over means we get more contenders. More contenders means better matchups, better storylines. Fans get involved. There's nothing bad that comes from this. Shota's great. Perry's over. Cool. Like that. This is all great.
I agree.
You should have taken notes from Drew McIntyre's book from WrestleMania about not getting distracted by CM Punk, though.
Yeah. Oh,
things to learn.
I didn't mention this. You are right. Of course, Tito saying, of course they booed for what he did to the Chicago flag.
Well, what?
Perry came out draped in the Chicago flag and then sort of desecrated it. No big deal. No, I get it. You have every right to be pissed, Tito. It was a great heel move.
I love that shit. I'm sorry, Tito. That's awesome. I love anyone who does anything to a flag to me in pro wrestling. When we get those things on rare occurrences, it's just like, mwah. That is the best. You're never going to beat HBK snorting the Canadian flag, but you know what? I'll take anything like that because that is how you get an area pissed off. That's awesome. Once again, good for Jack Perry. Good for you, dude. I hope this all works.
Yeah. Good stuff from both young men who are sure to be leading their respective companies given enough time.
Yeah, absolutely. Both are future faces of the company, and I'm excited to see how far they both go in their careers.
Absolutely. Moving forward, we had Hiromu Takahashi taking on Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali, who has definitely been making the rounds on the indie circuit and been making the rounds around companies. As me alone, I've seen him wrestle in TNA, I've seen him wrestle in House of Glory, and now seeing him wrestle in New Japan. He has been wrestling some of the elite juniors, cruiserweights, and pretty much anybody that they'll throw at him. He's been wrestling the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin. He wrestled the Amazing Red at House of Glory, and now taking on Hiromu Takahashi. This is a who's list of great talent. This was definitely a battle of styles, as Takahashi, we all love Hiromu, definitely was having some fun. He came out with a new Daryl, son of Daryl. Daryl has like a six-pack.
Dog, I gotta look this up and see if I can find it real quick.
You gotta look it up.
I'm so mad I missed this match.
Go back and watch it on New Japan World. Definitely having a lot of fun and definitely playing with Mustafa, getting in his head, not necessarily not taking it seriously, but clowning around just to get in Mustafa's confidence and shaking him up a bit. It was a great showing from the veteran junior. Like I said, they battled for positioning very early on, and it was pretty much a stalemate. Takahashi pretending to have gotten hurt. He was very vocal in this match. It was very fun. Oh my gosh, I kept hearing him say it. It was really funny. He then takes Daryl and then puts him in the middle of the ring. He heads to the outside. He kept playing games with Ali, using Daryl. Takahashi then drops Ali with a kick and plants him with a DDT onto the floor. Back in the ring, Ali eventually takes control. Takahashi rallies and sends Ali into the barricade at ringside. Ali hit Takahashi with a kick, but eats a lariat, a nice lariat. He knocked Takahashi off the apron and dives onto him. Ali got busted open. I don't think I've ever seen Mustafa Ali bloody, let alone this bloody. He was wearing a crimson mask and he looked kind of friggin' awesome, guys. He then hit a sunset flip power bomb and then hits the 450 splash for the win. Now, this is where things got a little weird for me. And again, it was something that I mentioned before with Jack Perry, but admittedly, this has been more consistent with Mustafa Ali, at least not at televised events. But after the match, despite being the heel, Mustafa accepted Takahashi, respecting him a little bit, and both saying they want to run it back. He went to shake his hand, but Takahashi would not shake his hand until Mustafa shook Daryl's hand. He then does so, and then he shakes Hiromu's hand.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Tito saying, when Ali did that DDT outside the ring, the thud was pretty loud. Man, call me an old guy, but whenever I see these moves hit the outside, my body hurts. So I'm sure the thud was loud. I'm sure the impact was hard. But great match between the two guys. I'm very interested to see who else Mustafa Ali is going to be taking on this world tour. But like I said, he is a heel, so it is a little bit weird to see him consistently paying respect to his opponents. I saw it twice at House of Glory against Shelley and Amazing Red. Again, non-televised instances of him doing that, but this was on pay-per-view. Got to stick to the gimmick, bro.
You know,
any thoughts? Tell me what you think.
Yeah, but we have to see the heels pay respect. Gunther is a dude we don't see him shaking hands, but my man compliments in his own way some of his opponents after he's done with them. So I mean, like, I think you can tread a fine line with your heel and your respect. You could. I don't have an opinion. I found the new Daryl, and yeah, that is beautiful.
Right? That's baller.
Hope they sell it. Like, I understand.
I have regular Daryl.
Plush animals are so nice. I understand his obsession. They're comforting.
But you know what's interesting? Because I'm a plushie guy. I have plushes in my home. Daryl feels so different. He's so soft and like not necessarily fluffy, but like sinky. Like if you put your hand on him, your hand's gonna sink into his tummy. It's awesome.
Dude,
it's awesome. Similar. That's a Squishmallow, right?
No, I don't know what this is. I got it from round one once, and it has a butt.
That he does.
Yeah.
That he does. We just got flagged on this video. But you should definitely go back, watch this match, Jordan.
Absolutely. There's a lot of matches I got to go back and watch. So,
I think though we're caught up for you to get back into it, as we had our Riot Rules Mayhem match, as we had Team Eddie Kingston taking on Team Gabe Kidd. Now, going into this match, we did not know who their partners were going to be. I was a little confused as to the secrecy, at least for Gabe Kidd. I assumed that a Bullet Club War Dog was going to recruit more Bullet Club War Dogs to the cause, and I wasn't completely wrong. He did have Clark Connors with him, but to your, I'm sure, happiness, he also had Kenta. The crowd was super over for Kenta. I was very happy to hear it. And Bullet Club leader David Finlay. Kingston then comes out and he has weapons with him. Of course he does. And he brings out his team. Surprisingly, it was Jeff Cobb and TJP of the United Empire. I was not expecting this unit. I mean, it makes sense considering the United Empire has been feuding with the War Dogs, but I just wasn't expecting this. But it was a nice surprise, as was the fourth member of the team. Definitely somebody I should have expected for Team Eddie Kingston. Homicide. Legend. Jordan, do you want to get into this match? Because I think I heard you say that this is where you started to get into it.
I got in about at a halfway point into this
Gotcha.
match. So
from the gate, out the gate, this was a brawl on the outside. Eddie using the ring bell as a weapon. In the ring, he's chopping the crap out of Connors. Finley drills Kingston with the shillelagh, like father, like son. And TJP sends Finley into the barricade with the kick. Then the War Dogs gang up on Jeff Cobb. Man, Cobb is a guy who I feel like is just this close to reaching his potential always and just never quite hits it. But I love that guy. I love that guy.
Same here.
TJP then dishing out punishment with a kendo stick across the War Dogs as Kingston and Connors are fighting into the crowd. Kenta then hits Cobb with a kendo stick of his own. As both teams keep battling, Kid and Homicide fight in the crowd as Kingston and Finley are trading blows. Kingston then chokes Finley with a camera cord. They really used everything at their disposal. He hits a suplex on Connors, and then Kid reverses a DDT and levels Homicide with a clothesline. He hits several of his opponents with a ladder, and then this was a great spot. As he has the ladder around his head, Cobb grabs him in a German suplex grab and tosses him over his head. And thank God the ladder dropped not with him. It dropped in front of him. It was a super safe spot, but a super cool looking spot. Connors then drops Cobb with a spear, and then he puts barbed wire around his head and headbutts TJP. TJP then grinds the barbed wire into Connors' face with his boot and kicked him. Guys, this was brutal in like the best way. It was so cool. As this is going on, Homicide pulls a fork from his boot and jabs at Connors while he's still got the barbed wire wrapped around his face, bleeding. This was, the screams were a lot for me. Kenta then dropped TJP with a big boot, and he hits TJP with the GTS. That's a lot of letters. Although commentary called it the G2S. Don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, don't know how I feel about that.
I didn't notice that.
I don't know if it was them like trying to differentiate the move or if it was them making a mistake, but I don't know how I felt about it. But Finley hit Cobb with a kendo stick, and then Eddie Kingston hits Finley with the kendo stick of his own. Kid and Kingston are trading blows, and Kid bites at Kingston, who puts him through a table. The War Dogs then gang up on Kingston. As this is happening, Homicide tries to rally, but Kid slams him for the pin and the 1-2-3. After the match, Kingston attacks Kid, and the War Dogs swarm him. Cobb and Kingston's, the rest of the team get involved, and the brawl continues until they're separated. Eddie then grabs a microphone and calls Kid a fucking bitch. Gotta love Eddie. He challenges Kid to a no ropes last man standing match at Resurgence as the brawl continues until they're eventually finally separated. That was a lot. It was it was bloody good fun. What did you think of it? I want to hear it. This is what I know you watched, so I want to get all your stuff out of it.
Yeah, man. I mean, damn. So, like, first of all, becoming a big fan of Gabe Kidd.
The haircut helped him so much.
And also just like, well, he had a really, something I can share with you later. He had a really funny comment towards Tanahashi a few weeks ago. And I was just like, wow, okay, he's speaking for me. But Eddie Kingston, this is where Eddie Kingston shines to me. And you know me with this man, but like these matches where
these Japanese style matches,
where he can be a wild card. Where he can,
no,
but where he can be like this absolute extreme wild card, like this is where like, and this isn't again not an insult. Where you get the sloppy style, this is where this stuff is just like you love to see it actually, because it should be. This should just be a bunch of dudes just beating each other up to God knows what end.
Yeah.
TJP getting this weird resurgence with this gimmick that I don't hate, actually.
I don't
don't
hate
know.
it. It just feels weird, but
It's
don't hate
really
it.
weird. It's out of nowhere, but he's making it work, so who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, like, good for him. The spraying blood, I think we got like 3 instances of him spitting out blood.
Yeah.
Cool. Weird, but cool. From the dude who used to be dabbing to spitting blood. Whatever.
Don't give him ideas. He might dab while spitting blood. Or spit blood while dabbing.
That'd be awesome.
No, it won't. No, it wouldn't.
The crown of barbed wire. I'm not too familiar with that guy.
Clark Connors, really cool. Really cool. I liked him pre-Bullet Club, but he's definitely finding his footing in the group.
Name sounds super familiar too. That's the worst part. Maybe he just looks a lot different. I don't know. But
more or less the same.
But you know what? In this match, my man was like, yeah, the screaming worked for me. I I'm glad this is a dude who is telling the audience, yeah, man, I'm in pain. Like, I have a crown of barbed wire, deathmatch Jesus, and getting it kicked into my skull and then getting a fork. God, like, this was all over. This was just some good stuff. Love seeing Kenta.
Yeah.
I'm a simple man. Kenta appears on my screen. I clap.
Yep.
Kenta hits a GTS or a G2S. And then you have the commentary saying you can't beat the original. Yeah, I completely agree. He still has, sorry, Punk, the smoothest GTS in the business. So good. So good.
Yep.
When he tried to go hit Jeff Cobb with it, I knew that wasn't happening. I was kind of worried about his I'm like, man, you're way too banged up for you to be even attempting this. But
I'm so glad he cut his hair, by the way.
I liked it.
It looked like he didn't care. It looked like he was just like, I'm here and I'm not taking care of myself.
That's kind of how he was, bro.
And that's why I'm glad we're past it.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm about to say, hey, the image matched the man, so like you kind of got what you got with him back then. But pretty fantastic match. Like I said, I no complaints. I buy. Eddie and Kid sold me into their heat. You know what? Like, I'm like, wow. Now I buy this feud.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm into it. I'm very excited to see it continue. I think the no ropes last man standing match is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be brutal, and I think those are two guys who are well equipped to have that match. I'm a little worried about who's going to come out of it winning because
it should be Eddie.
Yeah. I want Eddie to win just so like the good guy wins in the end. But at the same time, you got to start putting over these kids too.
I mean, I would be more if he didn't. If my man's on a losing streak right now, ain't he?
He dropped at least 2 of his belts. I don't know if he still has
2. He dropped 2. He dropped 2 of them, and he's. Yeah, well, I mean, maybe it's not that bad of a losing streak, but I mean, I wouldn't be mad if he won the feud. I don't have really a lot of stakes in it though, so.
Yeah, I get you. But yeah, no, a great showing from both sides. I'm always gonna pop for Homicide. So
yeah, cool seeing him.
If anybody's gonna come to Eddie Kingston's aid, it would be the man himself, Homicide, the legendary. Yep. What is it, 187? Yeah. But moving on, we are now going towards the New Japan Pro Wrestling World TV Championship. As champion, Matt Riddle defends against the inaugural champion, Zack Sabre Jr. I know you love this matchup. We're going to get it. I want to hear everything you have to say about it. I'm going to run it down real quick. Match starts with both men sort of feeling each other out. Sabre, being his technical master, being the technical master that he is. Riddle goes for an armbar, but he quickly escaped it. As they are trading submission attempts, the match is essentially a tie at that point, kind of a stalemate. Sabre dodges a kick, and Riddle slams him from a gut wrench position. Sabre then locks in an armbar, and Riddle reaches the ropes. Riddle drills Sabre with some stiff shots, and I mean, they were stiff. Sabre then targets Riddle's barefoot. Thank you. If you're gonna keep it exposed, you have it coming. He wrenches it and then he stomped on it. Sabre then stretched Riddle from a surfboard position, and then Riddle locked in an armbar through the ropes. He suplexed Sabre and hit a senton. Riddle then got a 2 count after a stiff shot. Sabre then hit a tornado DDT and locked in a guillotine. That's how you do it. That's how you lock in a guillotine. He then went for an armbar. Riddle hit a German suplex and a floating bro as he was giving the finger to the crowd for some reason. Is he a heel?
They were booing him.
I guess, yeah. They trade blows and then both men stare down. Riddle then nails Sabre with a knee strike. They keep going back and forth, and then Sabre is able to roll them up and get the 1, 2, 3. So, tell me what you thought about the match first, and then we'll talk about if you thought this was the right way to go.
I have no complaints. This actually might be a contender for a match of the year for me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I love this. Everything about this match was so smooth. Dude, it's great. Matt Riddle is the striker here. Zack Sabre Jr. is the submission specialist here. And now you're getting, because I love the story it tells. Riddle tries to be a submission specialist, slowly realizes, oh yeah, I can't. I can't. So I'm just going to start smacking the hell out of this dude. It becomes just it. The level of detail, I love when they do things like this. I love pain compliance. I like my man tries to get the armbar in, he gets the hold, and then he just separates the fingers, then locks in the armbar. And it's just you gotta love the little attention to detail with these matches. These are obviously two dudes who have a clear love for real martial arts as well, and you can tell there is little notes of just oh yeah, that's. He bridged out of that one. Oh, he perfectly maneuvered the arm or pushed this down or nudged the right way, where it's not just there is nothing wrong with your average pro wrestler using submission holds at all. Yeah. There is something special when it comes down to two dudes who actually know submission holds.
Or trained in it, yeah.
Locking those in, and then it's just ooh, now that looks authentic. That actually looks pretty painful.
Yeah.
Zack Sabre Jr. knows how to make things look extremely painful. Even sitting here, it's just when you see some wrestling submissions, you're just that doesn't look that bad. Sabres looked awful. They look like they're horrible to take. You don't want to get locked in them. Matt Riddle's strikes looks like you don't want to get hit by that guy. My man is just slamming those kicks, those chops, everything else. I have no complaints. That this was a 5-star match. If I cared about those 5-star ratings like that, I would go to a site to leave a 5-star review because... man, yeah, just chef's kiss. Easily probably going to be a top 5 for me this year.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm glad. I don't know. I'd put it that same level, but I really did enjoy it. It makes sense now why Riddle won the title.
Mm-hmm.
It was so they could have this matchup and put the title back on Sabre. They wanted Tanahashi to have a moment at Wrestle Kingdom. They wanted him to do something big at Wrestle Kingdom, so they had him win a title. The last title he hasn't, or not the last title, but a title he had never won before. They had him drop it to Riddle because they were going to do this tour in the States. And then he dropped it back to Sabre. So it all kind of works out in the long run, and it makes me retroactively more cool with how Riddle won in the first place.
Yep.
So... good booking decision, I guess, in the long run from New Japan. A rare instance of the quote-unquote let it play out, and it worked out.
Yeah, you know what? It shoved me up. Interested to see where Riddle's going from here. As a... do I say Riddle fan anymore? Do I say... As a Riddle something, I'm curious... Well, we'll see where he goes, because if they're still touring in the States, I hope he shows up a few times. But
yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think his style definitely works for New Japan.
Dude, I haven't cared this much about him for a while.
Yeah. So, I mean, God willing, this will be able to rehabilitate his wrestling career for those who care.
And maybe his character too, but
probably not. Why lie? Moving on, we get a replacement match because this was not supposed to be the match that was originally booked. Nick Nemeth taking on Tomohiro Ishii. He was supposed to have initially faced Tanahashi, as Nemeth was going to defend his global championship against Tanahashi. This was a non-title match because Nick has been very adamant that he wants his first defense to be against Tanahashi. I kind of think that's a little silly, but if it's what you believe in, go for it. Go with God. Nemeth and Ishii were battling for positioning and feeling each other out pretty early on. Ishii then drove Nemeth into the ropes, and he got a rope break, and the match reset. As they trade blows, and Ishii just barrels into Nemeth and chops at him. I'm just going to curse. The brick shithouse that is Ishii suplexed him and maintained the advantage. Nemeth responds with a drop kick, and he hits a running splash and a neck breaker. Ishii then dropped him with a back body drop. He then no-sells some strikes from Nemeth and then drops him with a stiff elbow. Ishii then hit a superplex. Nemeth then locked him in with a suplex. And God, I'm sorry, my notes are a little weird right now. Nemeth hit Ishii with a suplex, and then they go back and forth trading strikes. Nemeth then spiked Ishii with his DDT. That I love his spike DDT. That satellite DDT that he hits. Yeah, love that move. Ishii then caught Nemeth with a power bomb. Nemeth gets a 2 count after hitting a famouser, and then Ishii drilled Nemeth with a fist to the face and gets a 2 count after a lariat. Ishii then reversed a danger zone. For those who don't know, that is the zigzag. But he got rocked with a super kick. Nemeth then suplexed Ishii once again. Ishii then dropped Nemeth. Nemeth then... Wow, guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know what was going on with my notes. I was podcasting SmackDown at this point, so I might have missed some stuff. But Ishii hit Nemeth with a series of strikes, but eventually Nemeth catches Ishii with another danger zone and gets the 1-2-3 pin. I apologize. My description of the match was definitely not up to par, but I know you saw this match. What did you think of it, Dragoon?
This is one of these unfortunate situations of two things where the match beforehand was everything I loved in a pro wrestling match. And this was a good standard pro wrestling match.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with just having two dudes putting on a good pro wrestling match. Keeping it blunt, I'm happy for everyone who does, and anyone in the comments who likes him, anyone watching, I'm glad people like Nick Nemeth. He does nothing for me. When I'm watching it, I'm just like, yeah, this dude is good. And that's that's where I stand with Nick Nemeth. I'm like,
what more would you want from him? And I'm not saying that sarcastically, but what is he missing that makes you would make you care about him?
I said how you get your guys who you can attribute something to in their wrestling style. So how you commented, Hiromu definitely has a style. Moxley has a style. Kingston has a style. Sabre Jr. has a style. Riddle has a style. Whereas there's these strong suits these dudes have, and then there's some things they don't have. Their strengths and weaknesses. Nemeth to me is a guy, and it's fine that it works for him. I mean, I get that it's his entire point, but it's he does everything, and he's a good traditional pro wrestler, and that's cool. You need that. It's just not my thing where it's this is great, but him as a wrestler, I'm just I don't know why I would care. It's you're a 99 overall creative wrestler in a game to me, where it's
But you know what the crazy thing is? He is that in real life. That's the problem. The guy has an excellent amateur wrestling background. He had the most wins, I think, of his school's history with 82 wins. He's a very clear striker. That's probably where his strong point is as a professional wrestler goes. And he wrestles in old school, 80s, late 80s, early 90s style. So, I do think the guy actually does all of it really well.
Yeah, that's in no way to me. It's weird. It's in no way to me is he a bad wrestler. It's just there's nothing that he does to me that he stands out on his own enough for me to go, I care about this guy.
Can I ask you, do you think it's maybe an instance of no longer being the shiny new toy?
But if you remember, I don't know. I don't know if you recall, dude, I didn't really care about him when he was Ziggler.
But at what point though? Like, did you not like him when he debuted as Dolph Ziggler, or did you not like him at the tail end of Ziggler?
Man, I gotta be honest with you. Yeah, and there are people who can back this statement up. Even when he had the Money in the Bank briefcase, I rooted for him to cash in because, he was the hot thing for the fans. Go ahead. Me personally, there has never been a point, and I have people who can 100% back it up, that I have ever cared about Dolph Ziggler. Again, I think, dude, as a pro wrestler, God, you're never going to see talent like that often because, like you said, he can do everything. It's just there's nothing about Ziggler, and I think that's why sometimes he struggled to get over. I'm going to be honest. I think you're great at everything. You are a great pro wrestler. I wish there was substance beyond that. He's not Ricochet for what
but that is the one thing I'm going to have to disagree with you on because the fact of the matter is, and I'm not going to dispute what you're saying in terms of your preferences with him, but the man did get consistently over. It's just the booking wasn't there to sustain it.
And
he didn't have a Daniel Bryan level of like
get behind
him afterwards. Like, Money in the Bank, super over. After going into and coming out of Survivor Series, the one where Sting debuted, super over. There were when he put his career on the line against The Miz,
I remember that
over.
One. Yeah,
there were multiple instances that the crowd was so into him, but it was so clear that WWE didn't have any intention of booking him to be that guy. Yeah. And you could only support a loser for so long before that becomes the perception.
Yeah, it's like I said, he's not a dude who insults me at all. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. This was a good match. It's just like, for me personally, I don't really get into his stuff because I just I'm good wrestler. I don't know what it is.
There's just emotional connection. You just can't emotionally connect.
Yeah, but believe me though, there is so much respect for the guy that I'm I am really happy you're finding your way, man. Like I said, this came way too late for you, in my opinion, and that sucks. But God, continue to get this run you're getting. I agree. You have a dedicated fan base. He has never done anything wrong to me. Yeah. That's the crazy part. He's never been in a situation where I'm like, why is he here? But look, man, dude, flawless guy. Just, I don't care that much.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. God willing, he does win that TNA world title, but we shall see.
I'm rooting for him. I hope he gets all the success in the world, and I hope that he wins world titles everywhere. Just like.
But yeah, that was the show, guys.
We did the main event at the beginning.
We did the main event. We are going to go back, actually. We are going to cover the main event real quick, the ending of the main event, because afterwards, Moxley celebrates in the ring. He grabs the microphone, and he said that he hopes that the show was special for everyone. He says there was nowhere better to do it than in Chicago, and he thanked the fans. Moxley said that he's just getting started, and his first order of business is to pick who's coming at him first. He calls out Shota Umino, saying this will be his final exam. He is then attacked by Ren Narita. Umino made the save after Narita says he'll be the next challenger. Moxley says that Narita graduated from being a young boy to being a dead man. Umino then helped Moxley, who can barely stand, all the way to the back. Great way to end the show, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I know I was challenging that notion of Shota. And quite frankly, I do think it would be too early for Shota to win the title. But that said, I'm glad that they acknowledged it out the gate. Yeah. I'm glad that it's not something that they're just going to ignore because, quite frankly, everybody who has been following since Shooter has been waiting for this matchup or waiting for that passing of the torch. So I think we're in for a treat when those two eventually do lock horns, and I don't think it's going to be too long. It'll be very interesting to see who takes this title off Jon Moxley.
Got a fun prediction off that stuff, too. I feel like that's going to be a recurring theme. I think Moxley is going to keep wanting to challenge Shota. I think we're going to see someone get in the way of it a lot, so maybe that's
the Stoogie doing it, too.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. I think the buildup is going to be like he wants this damn match with the guy that he views as his student, and you're just going to get roadblock after roadblock. And that's why I think we're going to have time for them to maybe build up Shota.
I really just want, like, I know he's an unofficial member of the BCC, but I really want Shota to just rock the BCC colors at one point.
Eventually. I don't know why not.
Every time they've teamed up, because they've teamed up several times since the BCC has started, and he's teamed up with other members of the BCC. He's always wearing his normal gear. Like, everyone else is wearing, like, the grungy BCC gear, and he's wearing his fucking, like, white leather.
I love that white leather. I love that.
I do too. But, like, don't you sometimes visualize, like, the consistency in the outfit?
You want the faction to match.
Yes,
you want to, like, show up in the fit, bro. It's like, come on. Like, we got to rock this together.
Everybody else, like, when we wore the Cody warm-ups, like the red and green.
Yep.
And then Nick is wearing his leather jacket at WrestleMania. It's like, you're not matching with us, dude.
Yeah, no, man, that's exactly it. You got to show up. Oh, your Anthony's in here.
Sup, Navarro, man, our most consistent guy out here. Sup, boys? Didn't watch the pay-per-view. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Highly recommend it, pal, if you can.
Yep.
Catch the clips online. Craziness going on in the professional wrestling world. Let's see how it's going to send those shockwaves throughout. But, guys, that was the show. That was Windy City Riot for New Japan Pro Wrestling. I very much enjoyed the show. It sounds like you did, Dragoon, from what you saw.
I absolutely loved it.
I highly recommend going back to watch the rest of it if you can.
Oh, here we go.
Let's see. Hunter is saying, don't forget that Roman turning face. I think The Rock gave the order. I don't necessarily know that The Rock gave the order, but I do agree with you. Roman is turning face sooner than later, and I am here for it. Let it happen.
I think it's going to take a second. I think where this is going is I think this is all going to lead to Roman's break. I think he's going to come back, but I think Roman's going to be taken out by whatever Sikoa was plotting over here. Losing has consequences. Coming from the biggest loser of the team, by the way.
I think we're probably going to see Roman teaming up with Jimmy against Tama and Solo. And then Jacob Fatu is probably going to get involved and give them the upper hand. And then we're probably going to see Roman and the Usos. I think Jay's coming back to the fold.
I think it's going to take a minute. Like I
said, I do too. I think Roman is going to take a little bit of a break. And quite frankly, and I was discussing it on the SmackDown pod, I'm worried because it's going to really piss me off if Jey Uso doesn't win a singles title.
Yeah, I'd agree. Look, I don't need the Usos to reunite. I think the perfect story to be told is, you know, like you either have Reigns get brutalized by this new faction because losing has consequences, which still, by the way, the absolute worst dude saying that. But
even Matt, same page.
Yeah, but
he doesn't lose on TV though. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, he's a loser anyway.
All right, do we want to compare? I'll hurt you.
You really want to do this? Solo's not even your boy. He's not even your boy. Why are you getting defensive?
I run with the Samoans, bro.
Yeah, all right. All right. That's
well. Let's go back to Navarro.
Oh, yeah, please.
Did Riddle have a match? Not only did he have a match, Dragoon here was just saying he'd say it's a contender for his personal match of the year so far.
Yep.
So highly recommend it. Matt Riddle took on Zack Sabre Jr. for the New Japan Strong. Was it World TV title or World title?
World TV title. Yep.
World TV title. So go check it out.
Yeah, man, definitely watch it. If you love technical wrestling, it is a absolute treat.
Hunter asking, do we think The Rock gave the lighter to Cody Rhodes because he burned the bus he was in? That's actually hilarious. That would actually be really funny. I don't think so, but I would die a little bit. That'd actually be really funny.
We're not gonna get that reveal for at least another.
I know, 8 months. Another 8 months. But all right, guys, I'm exhausted. It's 1:30 here on the East Coast. Your boys gotta sleep. Dragoon, any last thoughts about the pay-per-view before we wrap it up?
Fantastic pay-per-view. I hope everyone in here gives New Japan a chance, as good as all these other companies are. Please watch. I think you'll be very entertained. And thank you all for tuning in.
Absolutely. And as always, guys, this is the Mark It Down podcast, where we are just a bunch of marks talking about the stuff that we love. If you want to keep watching us, please hit that like button so we know that you liked what we were talking about. We try to listen to you guys. And if you want to keep listening to us, hit that subscribe button. That way you can check us out every video we do. We cover WWE, we cover AEW, we're covering New Japan Pro Wrestling, we cover TNA Wrestling, we're going to start covering Ring of Honor a little bit more, and we cover every major pay-per-view. If you don't have the time to just watch us, check us out on social media. We post some really fun stuff. We post some clips, we post some memes, we get wild, we get crazy. We're on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We are on X. We are on TikTok. We are on Foursquare. We are on MySpace. We're behind the corner in the parking lot where we just, shooting the shit at the water cooler. We're everywhere.
Your voice just gets worse and worse.
I'm so dead. You have no idea.
Yeah, it's good. Can you want me to finish this for you, pal?
No, I got it.
Yeah.
And if you can't watch us, you might not want to listen to me right now, but typically my voice sounds pretty good. Listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Wherever that may be, we are there. Go check us out. Go download these episodes. Makes long car rides a little bit easier. But this is Dragoon. This is James Gisanti. This is the Mark It Down podcast. As always, thank you for being here. And as always, go watch wrestling. Have a good one, guys.